So for module number 1, you will be examining each of the 6 design principles: scale, weight, texture, form, space, and direction. So what you'll want to do to begin with to execute this project is to launch Adobe Illustrator. And when you launch Adobe Illustrator and create a new file, in the new document dialog box, you can select your page size, which is letter, at 8.5 by 11, and you'll want to select the first icon in orientation. This denotes landscape versus portraiture, and then click on OK, and that will create just a simple letter size page. On the left here you'll have your tool palette, and then with the rectangular tool you'll want to come over, and with your mouse and the cursor you'll see this crosshair icon will appear in the middle of your letter size page, and you'll want to just click once with your mouse, and then you can type in 8 by 8 inches. This will be the defined size for each of your compositions that you will create for part 1 of module 1. Then you'll click on OK, and then you can just, with your selection tool, which is the arrowhead tool, you'll want to just simply place your 8.5 by 8.5 or 8 by 8 inch square within your printable page. So you'll see that it just will be easily placed within your page. So also in your tool palette, if you select the your artboard icon, which is just above the hand tool in the tool palette, if you just hold down the Shift and the Option key and select the entire page, it will allow you to create multiple artboards within your documents. Okay, so this on the left is my original page, and on the right is my new page. Again, I just selected artboard icon, and then I just held down the Shift and Option key and just made a selection of that. So now what I'm going to do with the rectangular tool is I'm going to come over and create a rectangle around the perimeter of my printed page, and then in the bottom of my tool palette, for up under Window, I'm going to select Swatches, and then I'm going to click my Fill attribute, which is this white square box down at the bottom of the tool palette, and I'm going to click on Black Swatch, and that will fill my object black. I will click on the stroke attribute, and I'm going to click on the backslash, the red backslash, which means that there is no stroke that's applied to this particular shape. Then I'm going to, up under my menu, I'm going to select Object, and then Arrange, and then Send to Back, and that will bring that black rectangle to the back of my square composition. So you'll see the benefit of this, and then on the left hand side I'm going to make sure that my fill attribute for my square is filled, my stroke is none, and then when I then proceed with part number 1, I can negotiate or execute my compositions using basic shapes such as circles, squares, and lines to begin to add content to my composition. So for example, if I add a square here, a white square, I'm just going to bring up my Swatches tab here and just move this over here. If I add that there, on the black background, and then I hold down the Shift and the Option key and make a selection of my square and move it to my right-hand page, and then I fill that as a solid object. Just kind of move things out of the way here for a moment. With my hand tool, I'll just reposition my printable pages on the screen, and you can see what's helpful is that I can have relatively almost the exact same composition. However, my white square is set to a black background and my black square is set to a white background. So I can begin to start to kind of play with the idea of, contrast while still maintaining a similar design. But by building a white ground in a black background, I can begin to have some variable that is positioned as a strategy within the execution of part number 1. So that the way that we perceive both of these compositions, while they are still similar in terms of their construction as one design element, a square, because they're both set on different backgrounds and filled differently, then we perceive them a little bit differently as well. The white square appears a little bit larger. It's perceived as being larger on a black ground versus a black square on a white background. That ends this short tutorial.